Everybody, we are live. Bush League Baseball, Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time. Bill Jr. and me. No Bill Sr. because he's a Phillies fan. You can only have one Phillies fan on each show, I've heard. That's what I've heard. Bill Jr., trading deadline. What the heck? The Padres went insane. They went like to Walmart and kept shopping the whole night.
Yeah, they went nuts. They got Clevenger, Greg Allen, and a player to be named later from the Indians for Hedges, Naylor, Cantrell, Arias, Miller, Cantilillo. They got a lot of guys in return. But yeah, the Padres, they're looking crazy coming into the playoffs now.
They got better. They added a solid starter. They got rid of Hedges and added two catchers that they like better than Hedges. They lost Naylor. They lost Quantrill. I mean, really, Naylor was like a platoon at best. Quantrill was kind of a swing guy, right? I mean, Clevenger, that's a big upgrade. And they hold him for 2 years after this. It's pretty cool. What do you think? Yeah. I mean, I'm a big Dodgers fan. I fully still think the Dodgers are the best team in the National League, but I'll say it. I think the Padres might be number 2 now in the NL. What do you think?
Yeah, so if Clevenger stays healthy, then they're going to be pretty hard to beat, especially with how the young guys are playing. Grisham in the outfield is crushing home runs. He's got like 8 or something now. Tatis, he made an incredible catch earlier today. He's on fire too. They got a lot of young talent. Their shortstop, what's his name, Cronensworth or something? Yeah, he's on fire too.
The shortstop. Yeah. Hey Nick, what's going on? Just wanted to stop in and say hi. Have to get up early. I'm glad you popped in, Nick. Have a great night, buddy. Glad you said hi. Tatis is amazing. Manny over at third's amazing. I think you're thinking about Cronenworth over at second, right? And then they got Hosmer. They got Moreland. I've always loved Keith Moreland. I was surprised they got another lefty there, but I mean they needed DH apparently. Franch is gone and Naylor now gone, so he obviously slips right in there. I'm guessing that's your dad. I'm glad you popped in, buddy. I finally signed in so I could watch for trolls and such, but I'm glad you're here, my man. But yeah, I think I mean you've got Clevenger on the top, you got Paddock, Nick Davies or Kyle Davies is having a good year, Garrett Richards is having a good year. Didn't even mention Lament, who's pretty dang good. That rotation's pretty solid.
Yeah, they're looking pretty good. Coming into this shortened season, expanded playoffs, they're looking strong.
Yeah, I see them taking the 4 seed, which means if LA wins and San Diego wins, I appreciate it, Bill. I'm going to need a troll patrol, I'm guessing. I could see my Dodgers and all my buddies Padres, because I'm from San Diego, having a blast against each other in round 2. Could be a lot of fun. Now in the NL or in the AL, if you look at it, 7 of the 8 teams are already 90% to get in the playoffs, and the 8th team is like 73%. So it's crazy. Like I like the expanded playoffs. I think it's going to make for a fun playoffs, but it certainly hasn't done anything for, pennant races. What do you think?
No, I mean, more teams in the playoffs means more chances to win the World Series, which I like. I mean, you can get a wild card team coming in there and take it to the house. So it's really exciting to watch. I mean, especially come playoff time, people just kick it up another notch. I know it's a shortened season, like I was saying earlier, but yeah, I mean, just to make it to the playoffs, you can play as a whole different ball club once you get in. It's like hockey. I'm watching that right now too, and it's a whole different sport once you get into the playoffs.
Well, especially in that first round, right? Like it's a 3-game season. You win game 1, all of a sudden your year got a lot better. So that's, I don't know. As a Dodger fan, I'm a little concerned. I mean, we could go against the Marlins, lose game 1, and have a real stressful time of it right there. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that, honestly, but it's going to make for must-watch baseball for a good week there. I mean, I'm going to want to watch all the games, and I mean, there'll be 8 games, right? 16 teams, right? So that's going to be amazing that first round. Nuts.
Yeah, it'll be pretty cool. I mean, it all depends on who gets hot at the right time. That's basically how any sports works out. I mean, when the Eagles beat the Patriots a couple years back, well, a little longer than that now, but yeah, that they just got hot at the right time, and they got lucky with having a backup quarterback who got hot at the right time. So I mean, anything can really happen when it comes into the playoffs. I mean, the Marlins could kick it back on. I know they've been kind of losing lately, but they make it in, they can kick it right back on again. So it could be interesting. I mean, it's September now, so I'm already pretty excited about that. Everything's
September now.
swing. So
September's supposed to be the end of the season. I feel like we just started. What trade surprised you the most? I've got one for me. Any trade that stands out, like just you were shocked by? Because I've got one.
Shocked by? Kinda. I mean, Sterling Marte going to the Marlins, that's a big one. Definitely going in there from the D-back for Smith and Mejia. But
he hit a bomb tonight too in his first game.
What's that?
He hit a bomb tonight in his first game as a Marlin.
That's not shocking.
I'm shocked by that trade. I mean, they are in playoff position right now. They're the 8th seed currently. Nobody saw that coming.
I know. I didn't see him getting traded from the Diamondbacks. That's for sure.
Whew, yeah, shocked me. What else? What else surprised you? Anything that you want to talk about with the trade deadline?
Well, I think Kevin Pillar going to the Rockies. That was kind of surprising. I mean, he's been having a hot year. I think they were just trying to get the most for their money on that one, because he's kind of shaky at best. So he kicked it on recently, and I mean, they're not really getting anything for him. They're just getting a player to be named later or cash and international bonus money. But I think they see him on a downslope, and the Rockies could potentially use him for a push here late. But I don't know. Yeah. That kind of surprised me. They didn't get really a whole lot for Pillar.
Pillar's been cut the last. I mean, I'm a big fan of his. I think defensively, if he's just an average offensive player, he's a plus defensively. So I've always liked him. But that said, last 2 years he's been cut. So,
yeah,
what do you do? I think that a starter guy who you don't necessarily want on your roster for 2 or 3 years becomes really cheap at the deadline sometimes. And I was surprised by that one. I did want to mention the Reds, Brian Goodwin and Archie Bradley. Neither one of them are stars, but both are plus players. I've always liked Archie Bradley. I mean, as a Dodger fan, it always pissed me off because he would always be yelling at my guys. But he's solid, and Brian Goodwin always hit. Every game I see him playing, he's hitting. I think those are 2 good pickups for the Reds. Now, I have no idea why the Reds think they need another outfielder, but what'd you think about that?
I thought it was a good pickup for the Reds for sure. It definitely worked out in their favor. They got rid of an outfielder and a utility guy to get him. So apparently they need more pitching than they do defense, which I don't know. It kind of goes hand in hand there. But I mean, if he's throwing ground balls, you don't really need that extra speed in the outfield.
That's true.
So we'll see with that. And another big pitcher going over to Oakland was Mike Minor for 2 players to be named later. It's like getting traded for a washing machine.
That
was got to be a rough run for the old guy.
I live here in Fort Worth. He's a solid pitcher. They talked about Gallo. They talked about Lynn. They talked about Minor. And, I'm not a Rangers fan. I root for him because of the home team. I'm a Dodgers fan. But all my Texas Rangers buddies are freaking the heck out because they still think this roster is going to get it done, which it's not. But you got nothing for him. Like, I suppose maybe a player to be named later can turn into something someday, but doesn't very often. That's just moving a contract off the books, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, to him, that's kind of got to be a shotgun blast to the face. Like, okay, I'm getting all over. I mean, he's going to a hot A's team, and
they're good too. They're probably the best in the AL. Yeah. Who is the best in the AL? Because I think the A's are.
As of right now, yeah, the A's definitely have a shot to make it deep in the playoffs. If they can stay hot going into the first and second round, I think they have a really good chance of taking it all the way and potentially playing your Dodgers in the World Series. That'd be pretty cool.
Just like 1974, baby, that'd be great. So the Blue Jays we got to talk about. They added 3 starting pitchers: Robbie Ray, who's had better days, Tawan Walker, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right, who's had better days, and Ross Stripling, who I love as a Dodger. I get it. We've got plenty of pitching, although do we? I don't understand we give him away for a bucket of spit. You get Vogelback and you get Villar also. That's a lot. But 3 starting pitchers, that's more than half of your rotation. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of starting pitching. I know they're dabbling with 6-man rotations. I know the Braves were for a while. They were talking about going after Clevenger, and then they've been using a reliever to start even their 5th game. So, a lot of teams are going with a 6-man rotation or doing that reliever to start out the first couple innings and just kind of mix and match and to see what's happening. But to have that much starting pitching, I don't know how their bullpen is going to hold up. But I mean, if you go into the 8th and the 9th, it doesn't really matter about the bullpen.
Yeah, or if you've got 6 starters, you're giving everybody an extra rest day, you can, hopefully get another inning out of everybody. I can't ignore your Phillies. They made a bunch of moves. I don't know if I think any of them are huge, but let's hear from you. Brandon Workman, Heath Hembry, David Phelps, and David Hale. I don't know. That's a lot of people. What do you think?
I like the Phelps pickup. I know we got Workman. We got 2 relievers from Boston. I can't remember who it was, but the very next day he came into the game and gave up the lead. I think it might have been Workman, but I was like, okay, that's paying off short term. But I like the Phelps pickup, that's for sure.
I mean, the truth is, if the Marlins are the 8 seed and the Phillies are the 9 seed, you got to think the Phillies got a pretty good shot. I mean, what are they? I think they were 17 and 19. I wouldn't swear to that going into today. And they could easily be playing imagine my world if the Phillies played the Dodgers in the first round, and then if we beat the Phillies, I get the Padres in the second round. That's like all my favorite baseball people that I get to, hopefully not lose to. That could be fun for me.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not pretending like I'm excited about any of those relievers, but they clearly got some depth in the pen.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the relievers step it up, we got a shot. But they're atrocious. I don't know if you've been following them. It's horrendous what's coming out of the bullpen in Philadelphia. It's got to be making you happy. I mean, Nola's the only bright spot for any of the pitchers right now. Arrieta got shelled the other day, and then the 3, 4, and 5 starters are not looking too hot. But I don't know. And Nola had a good game today. McCutcheon's getting hot. Hoskins is getting hot. So,
Hoskins has been real slow this year. I love that guy, and nothing so.
He started out extremely slow. He's hit I think like 3 homers in the last 3 or 4 homers in the last week. So he's turning it on a little bit. McCutcheon had a 3-run bomb tonight. Yeah. So it's good to see that, but man, the bullpen is
as bad as they've been. No pen, those guys you just mentioned, they're still, I think, a game out of the playoff spot. So do you feel good as a Phillies fan for your shot for the playoffs? I mean, it's the Marlins who you're looking up at. I'm guessing you feel like you can hit a game on them. Here, let me pull up the standings, make sure I'm not lying. But how are you feeling about that as a Marlins fan?
As a Phillies fan, actually,
I said Marlins fan.
Yeah, you're good. Actually, not too bad because Marlins are kind of in a rut right now. Phillies are bringing it back up slowly. The GM's been making good trades to try to get some guys in here in the bullpen, and if they can make things click, I know we had a new arm out there in the bullpen too. We just called up a couple weeks ago. He didn't look too terrible. I can't remember his name right now. My dad will probably know him. Put it in the chat, but he hasn't been looking awful. If Phillips works out, we got another late inning guy to count on. I mean, the offense is going to get us there. We just got to not have to worry about scoring 15 runs every game because that's what it's going to take to beat some of these teams. But
yeah.
We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's bad when you score 11 runs and lose. So
I mean, as I look at the play, okay, so they're 500. So let's look at the teams in the National League that are over 500. Braves and Marlins, there's 2. Cubs, there's 3. Dodgers and Padres, there's 4 or 5. So you guys are 500. You're actually tied for the 6th seed right now. That's how quick that can change. Mm-hmm. So at 15-15 or whatever you are. So you're actually a playoff team right now. I was wrong. That's crazy. There could be 3 teams that have a 500 record or under and make the playoffs. I can't imagine. Somebody wants to know about your microphone.
Oh yeah, Dad sent me the microphone. It's working out pretty good.
Sounds pretty mint. I like it. Yeah. So right now, 1, 2. I don't believe myself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So Phillies 500, Marlins 500. Are both the 6 and the 7 seed. You'd actually have a team in the Rockies at 17 and 18 at the best right now, unless I'm just not understanding it, as the 8 seed making the playoffs. That is not what I saw the other day. That's shocking. The 6 seed could be a 500 team. They currently are. Wow. Yeah, so who would you be playing then? You'd be playing a division winner.
Mm-hmm.
8, 7, 6. You'd be playing the 3 seed. Wow.
Yeah, that'd be pretty wild. I mean, as long as we get up in there, that's all that really counts. I mean, like I was saying, playoff baseball, you can do literally anything. Like you make it all the way to the NLCS being a wild card team. So, well,
if you get in the first round and Nola has a good first game, right? He's the ace, right? Am I forgetting somebody? Yep. And he gets you a win, then you only got to win one of the next 2 to move on. I mean, anything can happen. You're right. It's like a goalie in playoffs for hockey.
Yep.
So the trade deadline, for me, the Marte trade was the most shocking one if you don't think about the Padres, just their volume. I mean, going back to the Padres, look at this. Let's look at this list. Clevenger, Rosenthal, Austin Adams, Altavia, Taylor Williams, Mitch Moreland, Jason Castro, Austin Nola, Greg Allen. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys. Now, if it's a 25-man roster and they all made the roster, that's 36% of the team. That's nuts.
Heck, just having Clevenger and Rosenthal on the same lineup is insane. Like those two guys are great, and then you got the other dudes picking up the slack on the off days. It's pretty impressive to see what they've put together here, and then having the young guys on fire. They're going to be dangerous coming into the playoffs.
They could have the MVP. I mean, you mentioned Tatis already. If he's not the NFL MVP, I don't know who is. They still got Manny, who hasn't got hot, as a Padre yet. That could come easily. Hosmer's been looking good. The outfield's obviously solid. Their catching got better. They're 4, 5, 6 starters deep now. Not in love with their pen, but they've got some guys who are coming back from injury. I mean, that as a Dodger fan, it's time to notice them. It is. It's time to take notice. I still like our roster better, but it's not a slam dunk anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers are actually they're still looking pretty good. I think Betts is, now that he kicked it on, he started out a little bit slow, not terribly, but he's kicking on. He's on my fantasy team. He's the number 1 outfielder in fantasy right now. It's pretty nice.
Well, I mean, and they just set the record for most home runs in a month for the National League team ever.
That was crazy.
Yeah, but you look at the Padres; they're only like 2 home runs behind them. So
yeah, no, that's
before
nuts.
They added Moreland. So it's been an interesting year for the NL West. Now we got to talk about the AL. We've been NL heavy so far for our first 20 minutes on the show. I think the surprise has got to be the Rays, right? Like I thought they would be good, but we all were picking the Yankees, right? And the Yankees aren't having a bad year, but they're 3.5 behind the Rays. The Rays are on top at what? Best team in the AL. I mean, really 3.5 games with the month to go is a pretty big lead. Now in the Central, you got the White Sox, only 1 game up on the Indians, who just traded away their best pitcher. That's nuts. How do you feel if you're Cleveland Indians fans? You win 3 out of every 5 games. You're at a 600 clip. That's pretty good. And you trade away your ace? I'd be pissed right now. Twins are in the race too at 20-16. Tigers. We just talked about 2 teams 500 in the NL and a 3rd team under 500 in the NL make the playoffs. The Tigers are at 16-16. That's crazy. And then we talked about the A's. I don't know why I didn't talk about the Rays when I talked about the best team, but the A's are pretty good. You can't forget about the Astros. What do you think about the AL now? We got a month to go. Who do you think is going to rise to the top?
Like you were saying, the Rays have been playing extremely well. I know they got a good pitching staff, that's for sure, but their offense has been kicking it on as of late. I know G-Man Choi has been hitting kind of off the charts for him recently. And heck, my buddy I played high school baseball with in New Jersey, Mike Perez, he had a home run in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead 4-3.
That's cool.
I think it was like 5 days ago now. That was pretty cool to watch too. But yeah, they're playing pretty well right now. And if they can keep it up, they're looking pretty good in the AL.
Yeah, that's awesome. So who do you think is going to, I mean, can we do predictions for the rest of the year? I'd love to do predictions with a month to go. So let's stay in the AL. I'll just ask you, do you think the Rays hang on? Ooh, big lightning. If I go away all of a sudden, it's weather related. Big thunder. The Rays, 3.5 games on the Yankees. Blue Jays, 2 more games behind them. Who do you think takes the East with a month to go?
I think the Rays are going to make it in for sure. I don't know if they're going to keep up this pace. They might be able to make it hot at the end of the month, but I think they're going to make it in. The Blue Jays have been kind of disappointing so far this year. I
mean, in the NL, they'd be the 5 seed.
Yeah, they would. But I mean, for the type of talent that they have, yeah, it's been kind of disappointing. Their bullpen hasn't been doing a whole lot. I know Bass is one of their main guys out of the bullpen, and he's blown a couple games in the past couple weeks, and it's not like him. So if he can turn it around and close these close games down, then they're definitely going to be good to make it in, probably 3 or 4. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But the Yankees, I was reading a stat. Who was it? It might have been Torres. I don't remember. Somebody, he had his own stat where it was like most whiffs on what was it? Not whiffs, but it was meatball pitches. And like his stats on the meatball pitches, he had like 33 swings and misses.
Oh, no way.
30 just taking them, and then 30 check swings or 13 check swings. It was crazy, but he had his own like meatball stat.
No way. That reminds me of Greinke. Did you see Greinke's Eva's pitch that he didn't want to throw at like 56?
Yeah, I saw that. That was why. I mean, that's got to make you mad. Give him the floater.
Throw that one at me one more time, right?
Real mad.
All right, AL Central. So I think we all picked the Twins. I know I picked the Twins. They're pretty good at 20-16, but third place. You got the White Sox on top. You got the Indians, who just dealt away Clevenger a game behind, and then again those Twins at 2.5 back. I guess I have to mention the Tigers at 16-16. I mean, they'd be in the NL at 4.5 back. Who do you think takes the Central? I'm going to go with the Twins. I know they're backed by 2.5, and I know they got 2 teams to go. I just think they're the better team now. Giolito throws the no-no. I love the third baseman over there, Moncada, in the south side there, Chicago. I think that, or are they in the north side? Whatever. One of those two. I think I like the Sox, but I believe more in the Twins. What do you think is going to happen in the AL Central with 1 month to go?
So, yeah, I mean, Giolito, he's been on fire. Like, he's had a great year. He had the no-no, and then but I don't think the rest of the rotation can keep up with him. Like, yeah, that's one game, but out of 5. And the bullpen, they're kind of iffy. The Twins, I think, they're going to end up taking it. But I don't know. It's going to be a close one. I think the Twins are going to end up eking it out, though.
I think so, too. I do. Now, I don't know that how much it means. I mean, I'd want to be a top 4 seed for sure because you want all 3 games at home. Mm-hmm. But, you know, as long as you're getting one of the top 4, it's probably the most important thing. Moving on to the AL West, I'm just glad the cheaters aren't in first place. 19-14, 2.5 games back. Still a good record, but they're 2.5 behind the A's, who did just add Minor. I think they're the class of the AL. Certainly the class of the AL West. The Mariners, Rangers, and Angels are playing a different game. They're not even worthy of discussion anymore. Who do you think takes the West? I'll take the A's. I think they keep it. I'll be mad if the Astros come back and take it.
Oh, it's 100% going to be the A's taking the West. It like pains me to say it, but the Angels have 0 pitching, and losing Ohtani, his arm, killed them, and they just haven't been able to get anybody in. Like, that's the one thing that's going to keep them from making it to the postseason, you know, in a normal year, and then getting deep and possibly winning a ring is their pitching. They don't get anybody. They try to get Ohtani. They spent a ton of money on him, and now they're probably going to shut him down for the rest of his career because he's been out twice.
The money they spent in the last 6-7 years. I mean, C.J. Wilson, Josh Hamilton, Albert Pujols. I love him, but not worth the money they paid him. Ohtani, I think they're 0 for 4, man. 0 for 5. I don't. Rendon is probably the only guy there with the big signing that. I mean, at least he keeps going to the well, I suppose. But I think it's proof that that's not the way to build a team. I really do. Let's do the same thing with the NL, shall we? You up for it? Let's do the NL.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's stay in the East, or back to the East, I should say. Braves leading the way, 20-14. 2.5 up on the Marlins, 3 up on your Phillies at 15-15. You know, I feel like I've been thinking, I've been reading, I've been believing that the Braves have underperformed, but not really. Almost a 600 clip. What do you think?
The Braves are playing really well, and like I was saying, they almost got Clevenger, and that would have pretty much put the nail in the coffin for the NL East if they got him, Clevenger.
I agree.
But Austin Riley kicking it into gear. Their third baseman. He's a good
Marlins at 16-15, and the Phillies at 15-15. Do you think either one of them are really going to challenge the Braves? Because I don't.
No, not really. I mean, the Phillies will probably end up in second, and the Marlins will drop into third. The Nationals have been a shocker this year. I mean,
12 and 20.
It's terrible. They lost Rendon, and didn't Strasburg go down, or Scherzer?
They lost Soto there for a little bit, and fell off.
Just not their year.
Now, I will say this: the Braves have won the East at home, 12-4 at home. They're actually a losing record away. The Marlins, this is crazy. We're talking about how good they are. The Marlins' record at home is 2-8. They're 14-7 on the road. That's crazy and the opposite, and I don't understand it. And then I think that's a function of a 60-game season. Like, over 162 games, the Marlins wash down. I mean, frankly, the Nationals wash up. I don't know that they get that close, but probably the Braves would have even a bigger lead because, I mean, really, the Mets are bad. The Phillies are the only other team that could catch them, and I just don't think they will. Interesting.
No, the Phillies won't catch them.
NL Central, Cubs are the class, by far the only team with a winning record in the NL Central at 20-14. You got the Cardinals, who I still believe in, and I have no idea why I do, but I do. Mediocre at best, 13-13. Brewers, everybody, well, not everybody. I among and many others thought they would have a down year. I did not think they would not be a 500 team. And then the Reds, who I really thought would do good, not so much. 15-20. I mean, the only thing they have going for them is the Pirates are in the same division. Cubs are the only team that's worth talking about here. Do you think the Cardinals get hot and catch them? They're back by 3. You think the Brewers get hot with 30 games to go? They're only 4 back. What do you think?
I think the Brewers can get hot. I know Yelich hasn't really done much this year so far, and if he turns it on, they're a whole different ball club with him on fire. Like, everybody feeds off of his energy. It's contagious when he starts hitting. The Cardinals, yeah, I mean, they caught a bad break. They really did. They had that COVID scare a couple weeks ago, and they were shut down for a while. And DeJong is finally kicking into gear. Fowler's finally kicking into gear. Having a solid last week and a half. I don't know. I mean,
Carpenter can get hot. I've always loved that guy. He's not been playing well this year, not been hitting well at least. But
I mean, as terrible as the Cubs bullpen was early on, they're looking pretty good now. So who knows?
In that division, they don't have anybody to worry about. That's for sure. Now to the NL West. Rockies 17-18, Giants at 17-19. They're both still in it, which blows me away. I've seen the Giants play a bunch this year. They don't look like a 17-19 team, but they are. The Diamondbacks aren't worth talking about. The Rockies, I don't really believe are in it, even though they are mathematically. The best 2 teams in the National League are the next 2. If you take the Dodgers off the board, the best team record in the NL West before all the trades is the Padres. 22-15, that's the second best record. And again, that's before they added Clevenger, before they added Moreland, before they added 37 other dudes. Now, the Dodgers still have a 4.5 game lead. I don't think the Padres are going to come at them and take the division, but I do think they're the team that nobody wants to play in the playoffs. What do you think?
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I know the Rockies just got Pilar. I don't think that's going to be enough to push them over. The Giants are actually, I think they were beating up on them. I saw what's his name hit a 480-foot moonshot earlier today. I have to see who that was. But
was it Dickerson? Maybe I feel like I saw a note on that too.
It hit like the upper deck. It was just an absolute bomb.
I haven't seen it.
I'll tell
you my favorite Giant story. My favorite Giant story is Yaz, grandson of a Hall of Famer. What the heck? Nobody saw this coming. Last year he had a real good year. Still, I don't think anybody believed the guy's for real.
Yeah, he's pretty good young talent. I mean, I think they're going to lock him down for a while. If he keeps up this level of performance, they're going to lock him down for a franchise player, like they did Posey. So
exactly. Well, so you're sitting at home and you're 17-19. You're the Giants. Do you make a call into Buster? You're the Dodgers. The Padres just got Clevenger. Do you make a call into Price, David Price? What do you think happens there? Do you think anybody comes back?
Oh, I'm sure they're calling them, and it's going to be up to the players whether they want to come in. I don't think Posey will come in. Price, he might actually come in, and I mean, we'll see in the next couple of weeks what happens with the West because of Clevenger going over there. But if I was Price, I'd be really tempted to come back right now to help out the team.
If you're the Dodgers, I think you throw the name on the roster just in case he wants to come back because you got to be on the roster at some date to be on the playoff roster. I don't know what that date is this year, but
oh yeah, I can't remember that either.
The interesting things to consider. Is there any other big names? I mean, Posey and Price are the 2 that I'm thinking of. Is there anybody? Cespedes stepped away.
Cespedes, yeah, I don't think he's coming back either. If the 2 of the 3 aren't coming back, it's going to be Posey and Cespedes. Price, I think he's kind of on the fence.
You can go get a ring. Well, Friedman said that they talk about it every week, and Price hasn't mentioned it yet, but you can get a ring. I don't know. It's hard for me to understand how you couldn't. As a guy who never got a chance to play on a team, I probably have, on the majors. I mean, I don't think my brain is capable of understanding the thought process of not playing. I mean, family stuff is family stuff. I think by now we can all see that you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Like, even if you get it, you're going to be okay. So I don't know. What say you? I mean, do you think the pull for a ring would touch it, or do you think, hey, if you're staying home, you're staying home for the whole year? I can't imagine staying home.
For me, it definitely would. But then coming back in the locker room, like, now you want to play now that we have a shot at a ring. It might put some some turmoil in the locker room. So
that's true. You're taking somebody's spot who's been there all year. That's a good point.
Yeah, it'd be touchy. I mean, if it were me, I'd be playing the whole year anyway.
That's a good point too. Also, if I skipped out on, okay, you're right. I'm going to take that back. I would have been there all year, or I probably would have said no. You make a good point.
So I don't know. If he were to come back, the locker room wouldn't be too happy. I mean, they'll be happy to have him, but the guy whose spot he takes, and if they do win a ring, he'd be real salty.
Yeah, you're right. So what'd you think of, and I don't want to go too political, but what'd you think about everybody taking a day off? I got to be honest, I've been playing daily fantasy, and I that day where they all took the day off, it screwed up all my rosters, and it really made me mad, and I haven't played since. And I'm a little annoyed. I just was talking on the phone with your dad, and I think he's even more so where I'm at a little bit. I'm getting sick of this. I'm getting sick of the like what did we end racism with taking a day off? I don't know. I don't know if you're even comfortable going here, but it kind of pisses me off. I think the whole idea for sports, especially in 2020, is to allow us to forget about what's going on. And I think your job, athletes, is to help us do that. And if you've got all that money and you've got all that platform, you can go do good. Taking a day off, I just don't see that being doing good. I don't even know. I'm saying it all because I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you have any thoughts that you want to share? Because I'm kind of pissed about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much in the same boat with you. I have my own reservations about it, but I will say that my overall mindset is we're not looking to them for advice on geopolitical or even, like political issues. You're being paid to play a game. Go play the game like sport. Hockey did it. The NBA did it. The NFL, they're not playing right now, but they would have done it. And actually, I'm kind of excited to see how that starts out with their season. But
I was more excited.
You're being paid to play a game. We don't care about your.
If this was a show about the NBA, I don't think I would be here tonight. If I was more excited about the NFL until I learned some things. Actually, your dad shared with me something that kind of is making me mad. I think you said it really, really well. Like, I don't mind them having an opinion. Could you please do it in the pre or even better, the post game, and not take away? They walked away. They went home. I would like somebody to tell me what they accomplished. I guess they wanted to bring awareness. I mean, cities are burning down. We're aware that there's something wrong here. I don't know. I have trouble with this. People don't like me talking politics, and I'm not trying to take a political position. I'm trying to take can we keep politics out of sports position? And the NFL has been horrible with this recently. I mean, they are clearly social justice warriors in the NFL office, and I'm not trying to say I disagree with their opinion. I happen to disagree with their opinion, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to say, can you just leave our game alone? I mean, it's like in '80, I was a kid. You weren't even around probably when we didn't go to the Soviet Union because of the Olympics. Everybody was mad. Then in '84, Russia does it to this, and everybody was mad. Now we've got TikTok, and everybody's mad because we're not supposed to do this. I think that we care about things that totally don't matter, and then we do things that totally have no value when they really could. Like, you could build a freaking hospital, LeBron. I know it's basketball and not baseball, but I don't know. It seems fake to me. And I think major sports in America are more at risk right now for losing big chunks of their fan base than ever before. Baseball went through the steroids thing, the McGuire-Sosa years, and Bonds and all of that. And they got through it because in the end, the players played and they let us remember why we loved it. And I'm glad it was only for a day. Like, if they took off a week or something, I mean, and the NBA doing it in the playoffs, it's just shockingly self-delusional in my opinion. And I don't know, everybody was given I guess it was the Brewers were the first team, I want to say. And then my Dodgers, Mookie wanted to sit out, and he didn't ask everybody to sit out, but the Dodgers stood up. And I guess as a guy who wants to have a good locker, like if I was a coach or a player, I definitely want to I'm happy that the Dodgers, Mookie's on board even more now, but I don't think I could have done that. I don't think I could not go to the poll. I'm talking too much. What do you think?
No, I think you said pretty well earlier when you said that they're there for entertainment value, to get our minds off of everything that's going on. Like, that's all sports has ever been. Like,
Exactly.
The
Past
Olympics,
time.
Wire and Conseco in California when the earthquake hit, and they kept on. They one was safe. They kept on playing, but like
When JFK got shot, they kept on playing.
Yep.
When a sexual predator who fought the cops, I'm sorry if I piss people off. There's only 2 in the chat, so there you go. Maybe on replay I'll piss them off. I'm sorry that I just don't understand it. Like, I'm not even trying to get political, but play the game, man. Play the game.
Yeah, that's where I stand too. Like, if I did that at my job and just walked out because of some political thing, or we got together and decided we were going to all walk out, that would not end very well.
Well, and then again in the NBA, I mean, should I even say, put Trump 2020 on the back of one, see how long that lasts. Again, I'm not trying to take a political position, but why are we? It just seems so. The inmates are running the asylum, and yeah, I am calling the athletes the inmates in that analogy. It just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think, as I've said for a long time, I've got a show called Good Morning Dizzy where we talk about a bunch of things that I think need to happen for America to get back to feeling good. I think there's a lot of stress and a lot of anger in America right now, and opening restaurants, opening the Disney and other amusement parks, and having sports are things that I've talked about that just make us feel better about it. I think there's so much fear right now, and that sports can do that, and they are doing it. They're back to doing it, but they seem to be like dangling, hey, don't piss me off or we're going to stop playing. And I don't know, it's rubbing this 50-year-old lifelong sports nut the very wrong way. I've been a UFC fan for years, and they're the only ones that I'm willing to drop a couple dollars on right now because they're going to the poll. They're playing.
I mean, they're minding their own business. They're doing what they have to do. They understand that their entertainment value comes out of their fights and their games, if you will, like baseball, football, basketball. And that's what that business is there for, to entertain the public and make them a lot of money doing it.
Yes.
And we all want to just, when we watch it, we don't want to remember what we have going on in our lives. We want to be lost in the game or the sport.
Perfectly said. I can put on CNN, I can put on Fox News, and I do sometimes. Or I can put on the Dodger game or the Ranger game, and I do sometimes. Exactly. I don't need to split. I don't need them to meld together. Thank you very much. I can watch a presidential debate. I can watch a basketball game. But right now, I don't want to watch either because they're driving. And please, can we please get to the election and move the heck on, because I do think that's part of it. But sports, and I'm looking now to I know it's a baseball show. I'm looking now to the NFL. They have such an opportunity to heal, but they also have such an opportunity to absolutely lose market share. I mean, and I'm not an esports guy, but I'll tell you what, the next generation is not going to be watching Sunday football and Major League Baseball and the NBA. They're going to be watching Fortnite and whatever the next thing is, because that's the pastime now. We are at risk of losing this as a industry, this being professional sports. Do I sound crazy? Because I mean every word of that.
You definitely don't sound crazy. And I think what they're doing right now, with whichever avenue they decide to approach, whether it's left or right, it doesn't matter. They're picking a side. Like, that's what they have done. They picked a side. You can't. You have to stay. You got to be Switzerland. Like, you can't pick a side.
It's sports.
It's sports. Sport, you have to just be what you are. And
I mean, I guess it could be the Minnesota
from state.
It could be the Minnesota Bidens and the San Diego Trumps, I suppose. But I don't think that's a good idea. That sounds like roller derby to me. I think I actually watched a whole episode of roller derby the other night. It was pretty funny stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I saw something. They did a Netflix documentary on it, like wild and dangerous sports, and they did roller derby. That was pretty cool. It was funny.
I would watch that. I might have to find that tonight. Well, what do we leave out on baseball? Let's get off of politics and back onto baseball. I mean, we talked about the divisions. We talked about the trades. Pass all the pair, and that's what's going on. You are not crazy at all. I want sports to be sports. I haven't put on MLB. I watched. Okay, so I've been so. Look at her. I thought I was out, and they bring me back in. I put on the NBA the other night, and I watched. I watched half hour or so of Shaq, who cracks me up, Barkley, who cracks me up, Kenny Smith, who doesn't crack me up, and the other guy, and it was mostly entertaining. And then the game came on, and it became less entertaining. And I guess I'm more of a college basketball guy. They travel too much. They don't call the game very much. James Harden hasn't touched the ball and not traveled in his whole freaking career when he's taking a shot, in my opinion. So I'm a little bit pushed off on that, and I gotta see who their social justice stuff on the floor and social justice stuff on their jersey. And again, I'm not trying to take a side, but it almost sounds like you are because it's fully one-sided. It's just let me watch some sports. I don't know. I just said I would go away. Pastor Pair, I'm glad you're here. Got me fired up. I hope you're doing good this week. I think about you this week. I won't bore the whole show on us right now, but I hope you're having a good week is what I'm trying to say. Who's going to be the MVP of the National League? Bill Jr. I want to get back to baseball.
Oh, man. The National League. If Bet stays hot, I think he's got a good shot at it. Seriously.
So the Dodgers are the best team in the NL, and he is their best player. So that's a good call, actually. I think it's Tatis, though, but maybe it's just because he's so, I expected Betts to be amazing. I hoped Tatis would be amazing, but yeah, you're probably right. Actually, Mookie.
If he stays hot, Tatis, he's still young. He's still a young guy, and Betts has been around for a couple years, and he knows what he has to do grinding through the season. Tatis, he made a heck of a play at short today, but some of that like jumping and how he landed, I thought he got hurt when he landed on.
My buddy told me, but I didn't see it yet. I haven't seen anything today, but he said watch the play tonight. Before I go to bed, I'll watch it.
Yeah,
I'm glad.
He just needs to stay healthy and keep his mind right, and he's got a good
Dodger fan. I disagree. I mean, I don't want him to get hurt, but as a Dodger fan, I don't know if I can support him not getting hurt. I don't know. I'll be here. Oh man, big lightning! Dang, big lightning. AL, got an opinion on the AL? Actually,
I haven't really been following too much. Judge was on fire there for like the last month, and then he cooled off. So if he kicks it back on again and has like a 25 home run shortened season, I think he's going to take it. But as far as everybody else, I mean, the East, they haven't had any real standout players. Like Harper hasn't done a whole lot. Hoskins was ice cold until like a week ago. The Braves, they haven't really had anybody. I mean, Freddie Freeman is always a solid player, and he slips under everybody's radar. He's one of the most underrated players in the NL, maybe even the entire league. So
I totally agree.
He never gets credit when it's deserved, so I don't think he's going to get it, even though he hits over 300 like every year with like 30 home runs. I don't know. It's kind of a crapshoot. I think it's going to turn out to who has the most home runs in the NL or in the NL East or AL, excuse me.
And
I don't know. I back and forth, but
what do you think about the Cy Young Award pitching? I think for me, it's don't call me Justin Bieber. I mean, I'm looking at the stats right here: 1.2 ERA, leading the league in that, and in strikeouts too. It's pretty hard to beat.
Bieber, he's been on fire. And Cole, everybody was looking at him to go into New York, especially with the team they had, and put up some serious numbers, and he just hasn't really done the Garrett Cole type money numbers that everybody was expecting. So, I mean, it's kind of disappointment, but I'd still like to have him on our rotation in Philly. But, Bieber's looking good. Oh, man, I'm trying to think of who else is looking pretty strong.
I mean, Maeda, I'm just looking at the stats, 0.75 ratio. That's pretty good. It's amazing, really.
Yeah, he's done pretty well. He had that no watch last week, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Sure did. Yeah, which is interesting because the reason he wanted to leave Minnesota is the Dodgers wouldn't let him be a starter. And when he did, they never let him go more than 5-6 innings. Well, there he was. He almost went the distance. I was rooting for him. Back to the AL. Somebody we forgot, Nelly Cruz. I mean, geez, 328, leading Major League Baseball in home runs. 40,000 years old. I mean, you got Luke Voigt with 13 bombs hitting 308. You got Jose Abreu coming back from nowhere, 12 bombs, 315. You can't forget your boy Trout. He's only hitting 368, but 12 bombs. Nobody's talking about Manny Machado over in San Diego, but he's got 11 home runs and 303. So if you look at the stats, there's some guys that are looking pretty darn good. I think this year it's going to be hard. I mean, Mookie is the name, and I think I agree there. In the AL, I really don't think there's anybody that stands out currently for the MVP.
Completely stands out with name and numbers, no. But Voigt, like you're saying, he's got 13 home runs. He's been on a tear. I don't know if he can keep that up, but he's been outstanding.
Yeah. And then you think about the A's, the A's and the Rays, best two teams, right? Okay, so how far down do you have to go these lists? I mean, Chapman He's hitting 352. He's not going to be an MVP. I mean,
Nope.
Brandon Lowe, he's hitting 264 and he plays second base. He's not going to be an MVP, but even though he's one of the best in Tampa, it's an interesting year for MVP. I think somebody's going to go get it here in this last month. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that's all it takes is one good month with this short season. I mean, in a full 162 game season, it'll take like 3 or 4 good months to win you the MVP. But here, 1 month will do it. Like depending on how good a month that is and how consistent you've been throughout the year. Yeah, it could take 1 month. That's it, and that's pretty scary.
And you can see Paso Pair drops you is so fun to watch. I swear he is throwing wiffle balls. I know everyone else is throwing real actual baseballs. He is throwing wiffle balls. I don't know how he makes the ball do what he does to it. I actually feel bad. So as a big Dodger fan, I was a little mad at you because he got crushed against the Astros in Game 7 there, and I was mad at him. I thought he was tipping his pitches. No, they were trash canning him. So what do you do, right? It's kind of really ruined my opinion of him, and that was totally unfair. But yeah, look at you at 1.47, 6-1. My goodness, that's insane. You can't forget Max Fried and DeGrom. They're both throwing great. Lance Lynn, nobody's going to care about him, but he's still under 2 ERA. That's pretty amazing. Strikeouts, Bieber running away with it at 84. I mean, the next highest that I see up here on the leaderboard, 57? Yu Darvish in the NL, I think, is a good call. Max Fried's just not that popular. His stats are good. DeGrom's got it 2 years in a row, but the Mets stink. I think he's right with Yu Darvish. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Yu Darvish can take it. If he can keep his command down, he's got like 5 or 6 different pitches that he can throw, but he has to be able to command them. And if he's not doing that, he's having a bad day. The thing that makes him so deadly is when he is on, you have no idea what he's throwing, where it's going, or when he's throwing it. Like, it's insane. Like, I pitched with him in MLB The Show, and if you're on, nobody will hit you. But if not, you're getting shelled. So keep his command up.
7 starts, 7 earned runs. Max Fried, 8 starts, 8 earned runs. But Bieber, 8 starts, 7 earned runs. That's sick.
Yep. And I think Fried, he did okay early on in the year, but then I think about his 3rd or 4th start, it's when he started to really shine, and he's held through it. And this kid, he's going to be good for a while now. If he keeps his arm healthy, he's a solid lefty for the Braves.
Yeah, he was a Padre prospect. I don't remember who they. That's going to bug me. I'm going to have to look that up. Who'd they get? Max Fried trade. Because I remember he was a big-time Padres prospect. Yeah, 7th pick overall. Who did they get for him? That's going to bug me. Anybody in chat? Oh, we got only a few people in chat. Anybody know? I'm going to pull it up here on Wikipedia because it's going to drive me crazy. He's only 26 still, it says.
Yeah, he's young.
Here we go. Padres traded him, Jace Peterson, Dustin Peterson, and Malix Perez to the Braves. Oh, sure, for Justin Upton and another dude. Yeah, the Upton trade. I forgot about that. That's right. Interesting. Huh. But they'd rather have him now. But can you imagine that? Now, I mean, Upton's been okay, but they could have Fried right now too. San Diego probably wouldn't have got Clevenger. Back to the MVP. I think Trevor Story, that's a good call. Could put together an MVP style year in the next couple of seasons. Dude's been MVP style the last couple. I mean, you know what Trevor needs to be an MVP candidate? His team to win. Actually, one of my board members, good friend of mine at my work, I think she's his aunt. I don't want to say it wrong. She is connected to him somehow. I think she's his aunt by marriage. I don't know, but says he's a great guy. I've never got to meet him, but says he is a great, great, great kid. I actually got to tell her she's not a big baseball fan, so I got to tell her when he got called up. This is, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago now. And now he's one of the best in the baseball. So it's kind of fun. It's nice to know when a kid that good is also a nice kid too. She swears he is. Anyway, what do you got? We got another 5 or 10 minutes here. Anything baseball wise that we have? We didn't have the show last week because of me. Sorry about that. Anything you want to get off your chest? Any newsworthy stuff? I do have something for you. I saved here, but you go first. Anything you want to talk about before we end the night?
Yeah, we did have a first coming out of Boston tonight. Marcell Ozuna hit 3 home runs. That's the first time an NL player has ever done that.
Oh, yes. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. And, I mean, yeah, you can flick your wrist and get him out, but you got to do it 3 times in a game. I know that's what people were saying about Mookie when he kept hitting his 3 home run games, but then he's done it in LA.
Exactly.
So, you know, I mean, a bomb's a bomb. But yeah, that's pretty cool that we got a first tonight coming out of Boston.
The Major League Park.
Yep, it's a Major League Park.
Well, I was about to say you get to play 162 games and 81 in that. Yeah, not this year. Never mind. I had a funny. I hope I didn't delete it. I won't. I'm scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I'm not finding it. I did have the Zach Greinke. I mean, we talked about it in short. Okay, here we go. Found it. Zach Greinke throwing a 56-mile-an-hour something ball was pretty dang hilarious. But this is interesting, and I didn't know this. This was on my Instagram tonight. MLB on Fox sent this out on Instagram. Yesterday, some guy named Miguel something made his MLB debut with the Yankees wearing number 89. This means every number 0 through 99 has now appeared in a Major League game. That's amazing.
I can't believe it took so long, especially with some of these guys getting called up like young pitchers.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I just thought that it was wild. I would have lost that bet. I don't know who picks number 89, but I don't know. That's pretty crazy.
Well, like they say in Major League, a guy who's going to be bagging groceries in a couple weeks. That's who wears 89, especially in spring training.
Exactly.
I wonder if he knew about that when he chose his number.
Oh, maybe. I didn't consider that. Maybe, hey, guy, I want to be. Yeah, maybe. That's a good call.
I don't know what that wouldn't even come up in my mind though. Is there a number that nobody has worn? Like that wouldn't even come up to think.
How would you think of it, right? Stat. I mean, it's even a stat. I was going to say stats are crazy. I'm not even sure if I would call it a stat. I'm trying to scroll. I thought maybe I had something from last week that we didn't get to that I put on here to remind me, and I'm trying to find last week's, but that might have been it. What do you think is going to happen this week? Anything that you're expecting? Anything you're excited about? I'm excited for my Dodgers to play the Padres again for the first time with the new roster. I think it's not this week, but next week. I wouldn't swear to that, but I think that's right. Anything you're looking forward to that's coming up soon?
I don't think this is going to happen, but I'm really looking forward to the Phillies bullpen not blowing a lead. If that could happen for this whole week, I'd be ecstatic.
Oh, and this is just me being happy. Padres are really paying Manny $300 million to watch Mookie jog past him.
Yeah, I saw that.
I love it. People, I appreciate you guys hanging out here past Older Pair. I know Nick was in here earlier. We didn't have the biggest crowd ever. I'm blaming me for not being here last week, but I always have a blast doing this. We need your dad to get back here. And I see you in chat, buddy. I miss you. I miss you being here. I think this is fun. Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to talk about before we say goodnight to the people?
No, I mean, hopefully my dad will be in next week. This is probably going to be my last week on the show for a while.
I was going to ask you offline. Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm heading out to the Middle East anytime soon, but it's looking like in the next week or so. So I'll probably be using next week to get ready to leave, and I'll have to do, a 2-week mandatory quarantine before I go. And then we get there, we quarantine again and yada, yada. Don't know how strong the internet's going to be. Maybe I can record a little snippet that my dad can put up and play in there like a news thing weekly. But we're trying to work out the details. This is probably going to be my last week live for looks like a year. So, yeah.
That sucks. Well, I mean, let's keep in contact. Obviously, I'll talk to you about it afterwards, but
yep.
I got an idea I'll talk to your dad about too. But I just hope everything's good. I mean, I don't know if you're a purple guy, but I am, and I'll be praying for you and everybody over there. And I don't know. What can you tell us? Can you tell us anything? I know that some things you can say and some things you can't. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I mean, don't know when, but it looks like we're going to Saudi Arabia. Not a whole lot going on over there. We're just going to be hanging out and, doing our job day to day. Hopefully we'll be working a night schedule because it is hotter than heck.
I was going to say, so you won the weather contest.
Yeah. Oh, man. I mean, if we get there within the next month, it'll still be really hot, like hotter than Texas, which is kind of shocking to think about it. But, yeah, hotter than there. At least it's a dry heat, so it's not.
Is that why you live here? So if they send you there, you'll at least be.
Yeah, it's not a shock. I remember my first deployment. I went to Iraq from Fort Drum, New York, and when we got there, it was midnight and it was 80 degrees. And we had left, it was 30 degrees. Got on a bus, went to our tents. It was 120 when we got off the bus. So we went from 30 degrees to 120 in a matter of 26 hours.
How long does it take, like the people from Milwaukee or Canada or wherever, how long does it take to get used to that oppressive heat? Because I'm guessing I would never get used to it.
About a month. Takes about a month to get used to all that heat.
Oh, it's miserable.
We stepped off the bus. It felt like somebody was hitting me in the face with the biggest hair dryer in the world. Like,
And
you can't breathe. You're just like, oh, okay, yep, I'm here.
And you get to stay there for a year. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I appreciate you for doing it. I wish you didn't have to. Pass holder pair, I see that. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, I hope baseball gets back to baseball too. I really do. I love sports, and I'm actually sad and mad that I feel like they're taking it away from us. And I hope this too shall pass. I believe this too shall pass. But I'm getting tired of waiting. Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. I appreciate you. Bush League Baseball every Tuesday night. Hopefully we'll be here next week with Bill Sr. I'm going to yell at him and make sure he gets here. And I love that clip idea. Please do whatever you can to keep us in touch with you. And again, I'll talk to you afterwards. But everyone, keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Have the best day ever. If you're watching on the replay, I appreciate it. Team replay in the chat so we'll know you there. Thanks for staying till the end. Have the best day ever. Play ball. See ya.